Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Miss, and today I'm actually going to be discussing the ban list. So kind of a ban list prediction slash ban list wish list. But before I start, friendly reminder to like and subscribe because it motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. And yeah, for the ban section, the first card that I have is Blood Dragon to 0. Now, a lot of people have been kind of discussing this card now. Should it go to 1? Should it go to 0? Should it stay at 3? And should we just not do anything at all? The thing is, last ban list, there was a really good argument to not touch anything, because there was absolutely nothing going on from Konami's side. They were just not there were basically no events. But now that there was the Remote Duel Invitational, there might actually be more online events like that coming up in the future, especially since honestly I don't think the coronavirus is gonna end anytime before 2022. So I definitely think that we should kind of have a ban list, and Block Dragon to 0 is one way to make the game a little bit more fair right now, because as long as the card exists, the game is the game is just not as enjoyable because you always know what to expect. It's always the same. It's honestly, it's been stagnating since I want to say basically February, kind of, in a way. I mean, obviously we've had new decks coming up in the meta, but it's still not super enjoyable. So yeah, and I think Block Dragon should definitely go to 0 and not 1, because as long as it's searchable, that's all it really that's all it takes really for you to explode. And besides, 3 Block Dragon is seriously very bricky. I don't understand why people like 3. If anything, maybe 2 makes sense, because you can get a second one if you can search it in a very grind game, even though I don't think it comes up too often. If you play 3, it means that you literally always want to draw it, even if it means drawing multiples, and then you might just not be able to play through hand shops anymore, because not every hand has a lot of extenders, and Block Dragon maybe banishing 3 Earths from your hand, not necessarily the best value. So Block Dragon to 0, I think the most logical thing to do here. The next card on the ban list, because I have actually 5 cards banned on here, the next card is actually VFD, the Vanisher Fathomer Disaster. This card has to go to 0. I don't care what people say, man. Stopping your opponent from using any monster effects or attacking for 1 full turn. Well, I mean, basically you can use it for 2 turns because you have 2 materials. That's also really BS, and it also plays around Dark Ruler because you can use it as at the very beginning of their opponent their turn. So either on the draw phase or standby phase, or if they Dark Ruler you, you can I don't know, chain any spell or any random BS and then chain Dark Ruler to that. But yeah, no, VFD has been just, oh my god, it hasn't been fun at all for anyone, and I really hope this card gets banned, because there's kind of no way to really stop this card with inherent with your engine. Sometimes it's just you kind of either hard draw the out or you don't and you lose. Honestly, the next card on my ban list is literally the exact same scenario. So Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, this card is also complete BS, stopping your opponent from even attempting to use the extra deck, and Union Carrier just makes it way too easy to actually just work, honestly. This card is way too powerful for no reason, and I really hope it also goes to 0. I feel that card, Dragon Buster Destruction Sword alongside VFD, kind of fall into the same category. Same thing with Zexal, as in they stop your opponent from even trying, and this is always worse than just making hard negates that can be countered. So yeah, those 3 cards, I think they're kind of a unanimous decision. Everyone really wants to see them gone. Now, the 4th card on my ban list is actually not Link Cross, it's not Needle Fiber. Get ready, because it's actually Martial Metal Marcher. Yes, I think that Martial Metal Marcher actually deserves to get banned, because Link Cross is still a very new card, and Martial Marcher, nobody really played it before Link Cross. Outside of those really obscure synchro decks that aren't really considered real Yu-Gi-Oh decks. People play them online and that's it. They don't really play them in actual regionals and YCS events. So Martial Marcher definitely doing more wrong than right, and I think if we hit that instead of Link, if we hit that, we don't have to hit Link Cross for a while. Like I said, Link Cross is still a new card. It actually promotes synchro summoning, which is technically a healthy thing, but if the synchro monsters that you're summoning are just way too generic, way too easy to summon, and have way too powerful effects like Martial Marcher, then we definitely have a really huge problem. And also, Metal Marcher is the best way to make Herald without negging like crazy. Now, if you want to make Herald, you're actually going to be needing a level 2 tuner and those 2 level 1 tokens, so that's actually not too great. Definitely going to see, Herald is actually going to be taking a hit with Metal Marcher going to 0, so that's collateral damage, but good collateral damage, honestly, very much needed too. Now, the 5th and final card in my ban list is a card that I know some other people have also kind of asked for that. It makes so much sense when you think about it. It's actually Borreload Savage Dragon. This card is complete cancer because you kind of just always play it as your go-to level 8 synchro. So I feel like it falls under the category of Upstart Goblin. If you can play a level 8 synchro in your deck, Borreload Savage will always be there. It's always the #1 synchro monster that you really want to go into. It just does a bit too much. Obviously, when Dragon Buster Destruction Sword was in here, it was even worse because you could equip like Dragon Buster to Borreload Savage, and like nobody can really out like a 4500 attack Borreload Savage that stops your opponent from also using the extra deck. So Borreload Savage shouldn't exist. Crystal Wing is fine, it's hard to summon, and it only negates monster effects. What else? Void Ogre Dragon is very fine. It only negates spells and traps, and only when you have no cards in your hand. Borreload Savage negates monster, spells, and traps, and all you really need is a Link monster in your graveyard, so no thank you. I really don't want this card to always be the level 8 synchro that I see, so this is like indirect hit to the Dragon Link deck, because now instead of making Borreload Savage, they might have to do some weaker plays, which I think is 100% like what should like be going on. So that's it for the ban cards. Don't forget that this isn't necessarily like a huge, like supposed to be like a banlist prediction, right? It's kind of like a combination of prediction and wish list, so definitely some truth in here. I don't know from like a business perspective if this is like the correct thing to do, but I think for like the health of the game, this is what should be going on. And also in a way, kind of also business perspective, because not hitting the cards when they never really saw any form of real play is also something. Moving forward for the limited section, I have Numeron Calling to 1 and not Numeron Network. I did not ban Zexal at all. I think the only unfair thing with the Numeron package is the fact that you can have like a follow-up that allows you to kill your opponent in case the Zexal gets outed, and if the Zexal doesn't get outed, then they're eating another Zexal skip for the rest, like for like, then you know, the next turn. So I think what is fine for the Numeron decks is making Zexal and just not being able to summon anything, like having just dead cards after that, right? Like, I don't believe in low-risk, high-reward situations in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Numeron Calling being at more than 1, like, just people would only play 2, obviously, but still, being able to play like multiple Numeron Callings is definitely not something that just is fun to play against, because when you out that first Zexal, you know that you have like something else to deal with, and then those freaking 4-number monsters that deal like 10 billion damage. Oh no, nobody wants to see that, so yeah, no. Numeron Calling, sorry man, you gotta go to 1. I don't think that's too much to ask. I think that's actually very fair, instead of actually limiting Numeron Network, and then your bricks are like insane, so yeah. Anyways, my 2 other cards are Scarlet Sanguine and Cursed Eldorlando, both to 1. Now, I probably have, like, I know this sounds cocky, but out of everyone who played Eldritch, I might be one of the most experienced, because I started playing it way before everyone else, and I have like over 300 hours of playtesting with this deck at least. And I know that even if you limit Scarlet Sanguine and Cursed Eldorlando, it changes nothing. If anything, this just punishes bad players or people who just vomit their resources too fast and can't really, like, I don't know, like, can't really grind too well. It realistically doesn't do that much, because just look at all the Grave Recursion that you have. Like Scarlet Sanguine, sure, it's a really good card because it special summons from the deck, but now that it's at 1, it will force people to play Black Awakening at 3 instead of just 1 or 2. So that's kind of good, because Black Awakening is obviously less good than Scarlet. In a way, that might not necessarily be bad. No, actually, yeah, it's a really bad thing, actually. Yeah, the trap is obviously much better. Cursed Eldorlando going to 1. I mean, even if it's at 1, you can kind of recycle it with Barricade Board Blocker, which isn't too hard to make, but I don't know how much you'd like to make Barricade Board Blocker in Eldritch. I mean, there's always better options. If you have 2 level 5s, you can make Ladies, you can make the Vampire Crimson Knight Brahm, you can make, I don't know, a lot of things actually. And if you can just normal summon like an Ash, you either make like Needle Fiber, Omega, Borreload Savage. Hopefully this card gets banned, I freaking hate it. But yeah, Cursed Eldorlando and Scarlet Sanguine to 1 definitely makes a lot of sense, to be honest. And then I do not have any cards for the semi-limited section because I don't really see the logic of having cards at 2. I mean, except sometimes, like Malicious to 2 is that one card that literally just, it's been on and off in the ban list for like 25 billion years, and I feel like it'll never be like resting in, like it'll always be between 2 and 3, so I'm sorry Malicious. I don't think, yeah, I mean, I don't even think it's that good in Destiny Heroes anyways, or I mean, I guess Heroes. Anyways, finally, the unlimited section, we have Tour Guide at 3, and yeah, actually, before I talk about the next one, Tour Guide, why am I putting this at 3? Think about it, man. BA sucks. Who cares? You can put Tour Guide at 3, you can literally give them everything, who cares, man? It's, I mean, I don't know about like a second and third Beatrice, that might be too much, because now we might actually start seeing like some bullshit plays, but Tour Guide at 3, I think it's fine, because look at the handshots that people are playing right now. Gamma, Infinite Veiler, I mean, Gamma against Tour Guide is not that great, but Effect Veiler, Imperm, and Ash are insane against Tour Guide because the Tour Guide stays on the field. Gamma is less good because it clears it, so if you have like 2 other BAs, you can special summon them. At the same time, if you have like 2 BA and Tour Guide, you would just go like BA first. So technically, Gamma is kind of better, but if you're Gammaing during your opponent's turn, well, I mean, you know, as the player who has Gamma, if you're using while your opponent's playing, it's less good because your driver gets banished, and then you're playing like 2 more dead cards in your deck, so. But yeah, I think Tour Guide is like super garbage. I mean, it literally just it doesn't do anything too scary. I mean, everything is a 1-card Needle Fiber anyways. Like, notice how I didn't even like include Jet Synchron in this list, because what does Jet Synchron even do? Nothing. Like, the only effect that Jet Synchron has is that other cards don't necessarily have. It's discard. The word discard. Apart from that, you can be playing Plague Spreader Zombie instead. Literally does the same. And then a really weak argument that people would use is, oh, but Jet Synchron is searchable. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You can only play like 21 copies of Plague Spreader Zombie. Plague Spreader himself, which is a 1-card Needle Fiber, Uni Zombie, Shiranui Solitaire, Gozuki, Samurai Skull, like all those cards, Armageddon Knight. Yes, Jet Synchron, oh, ban it because it's searchable, and then just keep Needle Fiber, Link Cross, all those cards. Yeah, just Jet Synchron is the problem, right? Oh man, for real, guys. Tour Guide, I guess, is that 1 card that you can kind of play it in like 3 axis, but whatever, man, that deck sucks. Anyways, moving into my final card that I'm unlimiting, I think it's a card that just doesn't necessarily will make the deck like super broken again. It's Widow Anchor to 3. Brandish is just kind of fine. I don't really have any problems with the deck, regardless of what deck I play. Obviously, if you limit, like if you hit every other deck, then people are going to play Brandish like much more often. People are going to start playing like Salamangreat more often, which is kind of a bad thing. So in a way, I kind of should be hitting Salamangreat a tiny bit, but Brandish is that kind of deck that you can't really complain too much because it does have a lot of issues, and you can kind of, honestly, you can destroy the deck like completely on game 2 and 3. You just have to side deck the right cards. But there are a few cards that just instantly FTK Brandish, and they don't even know it, so... yes. I might make a video like on how to like destroy Brandish specifically later on, but yeah, stay tuned for that. I think Widow Anchor should go back to 3, honestly. It'll give more incentive to people to play that honestly already weak deck, and it's not like it was a problem, so... That's pretty much it for the ban list prediction / wish list. I hope you guys don't disagree too much. At the end of the day, this is just what I think makes the most sense in, like I said, a combination of business and health of the game. So maybe some cards should be on the list and aren't. I definitely did forget quite a couple of like cards like actually just existing because I did not look at the ban list like prior to making this video. I mean, I just have like a notepad with a bunch of cards basically, like should they be at 0, 1, or 3 or 2 in theory, but I'm not semi-limiting any cards today. But that's pretty much all I had to say for this ban list prediction / wish list. Again, thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.